only a certain amount of excited you can get about a single eyeshadow. I'm gonna do it anyway. Not really sure why that product exists. What's up guys? Welcome back. This is a look for sure. I haven't started a video wearing only foundation and brows in a really long time. I look this way because today we are going to be playing with the new and a limited edition apparently RMS Savannah Peach collection. This collection caught my eye because for one thing, it really seems like they're coming for NARS's orgasm brand. Your kid doesn't get that pun. I'm not gonna edit that out. My hair is doing something spectacularly strange. My head is basically one giant cowlick and I'm just tired of arguing with her. This collection consists of 4 items. We have the Luminizing Powder in Scarlett Peach. Very vague naming. Luminizing Powder. We have the Swift Shadow in Savannah Sunset. We have the Monterey Wild With Desire lipstick, and also this MultiEYEtasker in Peach, as it turns out. So I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit. We're going to put all of these on my face and talk through them. This is not a first impression. I've been using these now for a while and I have a lot of thoughts. Also, I was watching Jamie French recently and she said something about how she just got done with surgery and for some reason she's having trouble kind of talking as quickly as she's used to. That there is a little 3 dots option when you're watching a video where you can watch it faster and it doesn't make you sound like a chipmunk or anything like that, and I highly recommend that if you lose patience with my meandering about certain things. So anyway guys, if that's your thing, then maybe consider subscribing while you're here. I'm just gonna zoom in and we're gonna put the makeup on. Hello. Good God, let's get some pigment on my face right now. The hair's going back, that's fine. Everybody saw it coming. Oh no. Oh no, I don't have a hair tie. I just pulled a Tati and put my hair up with a makeup brush, so thanks, Sigma. Anyway, the other reason that I wanted to try this collection and why it originally caught my eye is because I really like the RMS cream products that I've used. I really love the Living Luminizer, and I just hadn't gotten a chance to try their powder products yet. And this is actually a crap ton of product. So the entire collection is $72, and also because I had a sneaking suspicion, you guys, that this particular shade value was going to be a pretty close dupe for my Too Faced Pink Leopard Blushing Bronzer. Why do I want to replace this? Because it's not clean. Why else do I want to replace this? Because it was discontinued. Honestly, that's the biggest reason, is you can't buy this anymore. We're pretty close. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna put it on my face right now and I will show you that they are not super dissimilar. Beautiful compact, absolutely gorgeous. It's just so heavy. I love the lucite, and then it's got this really nice big clear mirror in it. Really, really big pan. This is just a very luxurious feeling product. I'm gonna just dab this on the back of my hand. When they call this a luminizing powder, I think that they mean it's supposed to either be a highlighter or a blush, but I'm gonna show you, at least on my skin tone, we're talking very much about like a bronzer shade or a very deep blush color. Look at that. And it does do something very similar to what I'm used to with the Too Faced Pink Leopard. It's that perfect combination of shimmery blendability and the right balance of like brown versus pink, I guess, for what I'm looking for in bridging the gap of all of my cheek products that I tend to put on. Usually it's about 5. But I like that if you just kind of put a little on your brush, it diffuses pretty nicely. We're going to have to balance out with some matte products though. This is an entirely shimmery line and the light just changed and I'm sorry. This is a super shimmery line and you do have to keep that in mind when you're putting it on because you can end up looking like a mother of pearl and it's not totally ideal. But that said, I am so grateful to have found something that actually does the trick. It fills that gap of my Too Faced, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's a very, very pretty bronzy shade. I'm going to put on a little bit of an actual like contour. I'm actually really liking the Pixie by Petra that I used in the last video. I'm going to use it very, very judiciously on a pretty small brush here with my little Thrive blush brush. This thing's great because it doesn't have a ton of bristles in it. It's not super, super dense, and so you don't end up with like splotchy color. you can get a really nice kind of diffused application with it. Kiki would be very proud of me for using a cool tone bronzer. In her contour video, she's just like, you're not gonna get a believable contour with a warm bronzer. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And that's just how I've always functioned. But this does actually read really nicely if you put it on right, which I'm not sure I'm doing right now. Honestly. And for foundation, I am wearing the Kiara Wise right now and the Kiara Wise powder, which I did re-up on because I ran out and it's pretty important to my routine. Okay, this did not come with a blush. This was technically the blush and we see how it behaved. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of blush on with just a big Sigma brush here, and I'm gonna go matte. We're going to use the Heartthrob blush from Makeup Geek. My blush collection just has stayed mostly cream. I would say that my cream blush collection is just enormous, and then my powder blush collection is still kind of trying to adapt to my Clean Routine 2019 mission. So we're still working with some older stuff, working through it. That might have been a little too much blush. Yeah, apparently there is such a thing, and if anyone's going to find it, it's me. But that's okay, because we've got this fantastic Well People highlighter stuff. I'm gonna throw that on real quick. If you didn't watch my last video, I fell in love with this Well People product. It is a brightener. It is not a highlighter, it is a brightener. And so you can add a little bit of pigment and make your face catch the light in a really nice way without adding kind of too much shimmer. Do we like that? Do I look okay? I'm feeling like the blush is just a little much, but it'll probably tone down. I don't know. The next product I'm going to apply to my face is the Savannah Sunset Swift Shadow. I'm a little embarrassed to say that this is actually one of the biggest reasons that I sprung for this. I know that this is the tiniest eyeshadow in the world, but it is my ideal, you know, shimmery gold shifting coral, and this is very NARS Orgasm. This is just very clearly coming for that particular shade. I don't even have NARS Orgasm anymore, I don't think, to compare this to. I'm going to throw just a tiny, hopefully tiny bit of primer on my lids here. I haven't done an eyeshadow look in a while, but I'm basically going to use this and then also use just my other face products to get a little eye look going, and then oh, the MultiEYEtasker will also come into play in a moment. And then my camera battery died and I completely blanked on charging another one yesterday, so that's fun. And my base has had a chance to really just cook on there for a minute, so I'm just gonna dip my little favorite brush in here. This is a Real Techniques brush from their, I think, like Magnificent Metals collection or something. And I'm just gonna start kind of working this on to the lid and also the transition area, I guess we would call that. It really adds a lot very quickly. You end up with, you know, very much the effect of using blush as an eyeshadow. It's a very pretty color. I think it sits really nicely on the skin. However, I do realize I am talking a lot about one eyeshadow. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that this is like the most groundbreaking eyeshadow in the world. It's just a really pretty color. That's all. No more, no less. The formula is really nice. There's no reason that I won't, you know, continue to use this until it's gone. It's an absolutely beautiful shade. Does it exist in other eyeshadow palettes? Absolutely. But for a lot of people, the formulas are very important to people when it comes to RMS. RMS makes a big effort to keep everything really low heat so that they preserve the, you know, bioeffectiveness, efficacy of their ingredients. Essentially, their whole thing is that a lot of things claim to have very potent ingredients, but they're overheated in the production and getting them to be shelf stable. And so all of those promises are kind of for nothing because they've been overheated and these haven't, essentially. That's at least how it goes for their cream products. I'm not sure what their opinion is on their powder products, but I assume that they stick to their same ethics. They're just very, very passionate about that, and that's a lot of the difference that's made for a lot of people for RMS and like why it warrants spending the extra money on it. So while I really like this, I think we're gonna go ahead and work on top of it with a little bit of the other products here. So I'm gonna go back in with the Luminizing Powder, which is a little bit more cool toned, but also still extremely shimmery. Everything in this collection is really shimmery. And gonna just kind of work into the crease a little bit here, build a little tiny bit of shadow. I'm not going for like a Luke today. You know, I really don't wanna look like Wham Bam Evening. Just a nice day look. And I'm gonna go in with the PYT Upgrade Highlighter in the shade Backstage Pass. It's just a nice kind of neutral gold champagne color, and highlight my brow bone with that, mainly just to get a little bit more coverage on top of my veininess on my eyes. If I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeshadow, I kind of have to at least put a coat of something everywhere. So, love the eyeshadow, but like I said, it is just a single eyeshadow. There's only a certain amount of excited you can get about a single eyeshadow. Let's talk about these two weird little products here. So the first one being this MultiEYEtasker. This is what she looks like. It's just a little pen. And the RMS thing we were just talking about with the low heat starts to really come into play with this product. So the main thing that I noticed when I first started working with this is it takes a little bit of work to get her started. So yes, goes on the skin really nicely, but like getting her to move around is a little bit of an effort. And that's some of the criticism that I've read online about a lot of this particular product. This is not the first one that they've ever done. When I read how to use this, because honestly the first time I tried to use this I was like, this is really pointless. Why does this exist when the eyeshadow is already in the collection? This very much just feels like a cream eyeshadow. When I put this on with the eyeshadow, I really can't see it. I mean, first of all, she's very passionate about the idea of using all these products however you want. Romantically interact with them is how she puts it on the website. So she suggests using the lipstick as a cream blush if you want to, using this luminizing powder any old way that you want. I'm telling you, if I put it any other place on my face than I just put it, it would look hilarious. So while I appreciate being encouraged to play in the sandbox of RMS, there aren't as many options for these pigments as probably they would have liked there to be. But anyway, we are told to use this as like an inner corner highlight or an eyebrow highlight or even a Cupid's bow highlight. And I'm gonna do it, but I mean, that's rose gold, y'all. Like that's, let's see what happens. Is anyone else just like, hey, you're drawing on your face with pink marker? Yeah, that like doesn't work for me as a highlighter. And I'm not crapping on it. I just want to let people know who are a similar skin tone to mine, a lighter skin tone, that this might not behave like a highlighter on you, you know? I'm gonna do this on my inner corner like they suggest, but we're definitely not getting a brightening effect. It's definitely just shimmery pink. I'm going to throw highlighter on top of that. I don't find really much use for that particular product in this collection. I think it's pretty disappointing because it doesn't work as a highlight on most skin tones, and even if it does work as a highlight, quote unquote, like it's lighter than your skin tone, I still don't think it's a super easy product to use, and I don't think it's a super flattering tone for a highlight. And if you were gonna use it just as a cream eyeshadow, like, newsflash, you already have the color as an eyeshadow in this collection, so not really sure why that product exists. I'm gonna take my pinky back into my actual powder highlight and just go on top of that so that we can get an actual highlight color. Nothing really weirder than like an inner quarter low light. It's not a look, it's not a vibe. Let's talk about this lipstick. So they do say on the website that this is meant to be used minimally, and that is because your girl is crazy pigmented. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a beautiful, beautiful product. Very typical RMS, the way that when you warm it up on your skin, it moves around. And then once you stop moving it around, it definitely sets down. It wants to be a little stiffer at room temperature than a lot of products that you might be accustomed to interacting with. It doesn't stay really dewy, creamy. So I'm just gonna kind of blot this on my lips because as you guys know, as soon as I put a color on my lips, everything else on my face disappears, so. But this is actually how they recommend doing it. It's just a little bit at a time, and at this rate, this thing's gonna last me forever. And it is a really gorgeous color, so I think that, you know, the way that she suggests using it as a cream blush could work really, really nicely. I think that this lip color needs a liner on me. It just looks like I've been eating a very rosy popsicle. But I'm gonna throw a gloss on in a second, and hopefully that'll help make it look a little more intentional. So this is actually a really good opportunity to talk about the new lip serums that Thrive just came out with. In fact, this one came out a little while ago. This is Charlotte. This is their new kind of mauvey shade. Really, really pretty. Let's see if I can fit this on my wrist with more swatches. They are all a tiny bit sparkly. They're also low-key plumping. This is the shade Effie. This, I believe, just came out this week, and it is just kind of a really pretty glittery hot pink, but they all go on pretty sheer. And then this is Ashley, and it is just a shimmery clear gloss, which happens to be one of my favorite things in the world. So these three are all, that looks awful with the swatch underneath it, but you get the point. These are all new right now, and they sent them all to me. You'll probably see my lips in some of the ads because I did a few macros for them, but we're just gonna throw the clear on top of the RMS here because I really am just more comfortable in a glossy lip. I feel like it's just a healthier looking aesthetic on me. All right, gonna give this a little spritz with my Onami Radical Setting Mist real quick. And let's talk final thoughts on the RMS Savannah Peach collection. As this is my first foray into the powder products offered by RMS, I was not actually aware that this exists already in other colors that are not that far off from this. And so I think that if I were like on their website looking at the shade like Midnight Hour, I'll put it up on the screen, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that I could probably get a very similar effect to this in the sense of it being a very good dupe for my Too Faced. So in that sense, was it worth it to necessarily buy this full collection if this was the one product that I really, really liked? Not really, but I do think that the eyeshadow is gorgeous. I really, really like how it looks, how it wears. It's just a very pretty kind of luminizing color. And I really like these two products as the collection. That said, if I paid $36 for each of these products, that's crazy, but it's not that crazy. I have, you know, two more products that I'm not really sure I'm gonna get that much use out of. The lipstick is an okay shade. I like the formula. It's all right. It just doesn't really fit into my routine that well. It just looks a little bit sloppy. It's hard to wear. I'm not really a blotted lip kind of girl. And even though RMS is supposed to be a very low heat company, and I probably should have known ahead of time, I guess I was expecting something just a little bit creamier. This I just think is a miss. You know, I don't think that it's a bad product. I just don't think it belongs in this collection. If you're going to buy an eyeshadow already, this doesn't really serve any purpose. And as a highlighter, quote unquote, it doesn't really work for most people. If I were to have my druthers and redesign this collection, I would keep the eyeshadow and the luminizing powder, and I would trade these out. I would go for an actual highlighter, if it was a powder highlighter or a cream highlighter, or even a little pencil highlighter, just a better color, a more usable color, something that was more champagne-y and a little bit more universal. I just don't think that rose gold is a highlight most people are going for. Correct me if I'm wrong, it just looks weird. And I would have gone for a gloss. This is a really beautiful luminizing whole aesthetic for this collection. Why not go for a gloss, especially if it's going to be kind of summery. I feel like the lip is just very severe compared to everything else. Like if I put the rest of this on my skin, it looks very natural, very healthy, very plump and shimmery, and then you put the lip on and it immediately goes like makeup, and that's just a strange choice in my opinion, but that's what you came here for. Was my opinion. So that is the RMS Savannah Peach collection. I don't have any regrets. I love this powder on my face, and I'm going to use the heck out of the eyeshadow. I'm just probably not going to get much use out of the other two products, and I want you guys to be aware of what you're getting into if you were curious about this. So if this was helpful, guys, do give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time watching and you enjoyed this video, then definitely think about subscribing while you're here. We would love to have you. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!